Day 329 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 2032, 2 out of 3. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go in and check out the link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. Given three integer arrays nums1, nums2, and nums3, return a distinct array containing all the values that are present in at least two of the three arrays. You may return the values in any order. All right, y'all, so that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just so we can make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have the input nums1 equals an array of integers 1, 1, 3, and 2. Nums2 equals an array of integers 2 and 3, and nums3 equals an array of integers just 3. The output is 3 and 2. Explanation says the values that are present in at least two arrays are 3 in all three of the arrays and 2 in nums1 and nums2. So as you can see by this example, we just want to look at these three arrays right here and find all the elements that occur in at least 2 out of 3 of these arrays, right? So as you can see in the first array, we have 1, 2s, and a 3, right? In nums2, we just have a 2 and a 3, and in nums3, we just have a 3. So as you can see, 1 only occurs in one of the array. It doesn't occur in nums2 and it doesn't occur in nums1. The ones only occur in nums1. The nums only occur in nums1. They don't occur in nums2 or nums3. So we know that those don't fit the requirement of being in 2 out of 3 of the arrays. Now when we look at the next element in nums1, 3, we can see we have a 3 in nums1, we have a 3 in nums2, and we have a 3 in nums3. So we know that 3 appears in at least 2 of the arrays, but it really appears in all 3 of the arrays, but we just need it to appear in at least 2. Then we see that the next element 2 appears in nums1 and it appears in nums2, but it does not appear in nums3. But since it appears in nums1 and nums2, that's 2 out of 3, right? We only need it to appear twice. We don't need it to appear all 3 times. So in that case, we just return 3 and 2 because the 3, once again, is in all of the arrays, and 2 is in nums1, nums2, which is 2 of the arrays, which is what we need to fit our requirements. It needs to be in at least 2 of the arrays, and 3 and 2 are the 2 elements that appear in at least 2 of these 3 input arrays. So let's go ahead and look at example 2. It's the same principle, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. So in example 2, nums1 equals an array of integers 3 and 1, nums2 equals an array of integers 2 and 3, and nums3 equals an array of integers 1 and 2. The output is 2, 3, and 1. Explanation says the values that are present in at least 2 arrays are 2, 3, and 1. So as you can see, all of these elements, 1, 2, and 3, appear in at least 2 of the arrays, right? We have a 1 right here in nums1, and we have we have a 1 right here in nums3. So that fits the requirement in being at least 2. We have a 3 right here in nums1, and we have a 3 right here in nums2. So that fits the requirement of being 2 out of 3 of the arrays. And then we have a 2 right here in nums2, and we have a 2 right here in nums3. So that also fits the requirement in being in at least 2 out of 3 of the arrays. So that's why we can return 2, 3, and 1, because all of these elements appear in at least 2 of these arrays. Boom. So let's take a look at example 3, where none of the elements appear more than 2 times, right? So in nums1, we have the nums1 equals an array of integers 1, 2, and 2. Nums2 equals an array of integers 4, 3, and 3. And nums3 equals an array of integers just 5. Now, as we can see, we have a 2 right here. Now, we don't need it, the 2s. You can see there's 2 2s in this array, but we need at least 1 2 in each of the array, in 2 out of 3 of the arrays. So we don't need 2 2s and 2 out of 3 of one array. We need at least 1 2 in 2 out of 3 of the arrays. And as you can see, This is the only array that has a 2, so 2 doesn't make the cut because the other two arrays right here and right here do not contain a 2. Same with 1. We have a 1 right here in this array, but none of the other arrays contain a 1, so we know that 1 and 2 don't fit the requirement. Now we come look at 4 and 3, we can see this is the only array that contains a 4, and this is the only array that contains a 3. This array doesn't have a 4 or 3, and this array doesn't have a 4 or 3. So we know that 4 and 3 does not fit the requirements as well. Even though there are 2 3s in the same array, we need at least 1 2 and 1 3 in the different arrays, right? We're not just looking at one array. We're not dealing with just one array. We need it to be in all 2 out of 3 of the arrays of the full array, not 2 out of 3 in one array, right? So that's why it doesn't fit the requirement. And same with 5. 5 only appears in this array. It doesn't appear in this array, and it doesn't appear in this array. So 5 doesn't make it either. So we will return a blank array. Explanation says no value is present in at least 2 arrays. So sounds simple enough, y'all. I hope that made sense to y'all. But now it's time to get into the fun part, the actual solution. And the solution is even easier to understand than the question, y'all. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to create our output array, because as you can see, the output is an array as well. So we need to create that so that we can store our output. So in order to do that, all we have to do is declare a variable, call it result, and we can set that equal to a square bracket and an array of integers and put the parentheses like that at the end. Now we need to convert each input array into a set, and that will remove any duplicates for us. So in order to do that, we can say let sets1 equals set, open up the parentheses, nums1. Then we come right here. We need to do it for all of the arrays, nums1, nums2, nums1 array, nums2 array, and nums3. We're going to convert all of these arrays to sets. So we could say let sets2 equal a set, open up the parentheses, say nums2. Then we do the same thing for nums3. We could say sets3 equals a set, open up the parentheses of nums3. Sorry, y'all, put an S right here. Now we need to find numbers that appear in both nums1 and nums2, and then we can add them to the result array. So in order to do that, we could just say result.append, open up the parentheses, contents of colon, we'll say sets1 dot intersection, open up the parentheses, sets2. So once again, that's going to find the numbers that appear both in nums1 and nums2. Boom. Now we need to do the same thing and find both the numbers that appear both in nums1 and nums3. So in order to do that, it's similar. We could just say result.append, open up the parentheses, contents of colon, we'll say sets1 dot intersection, open up the parentheses, set3. Boom. Now we need to also find the numbers that appear in both nums2 and nums3. So to do that, we do the same thing. We could just say result.append, open up the parentheses, contents of, then this time we say sets2 dot intersection, open up the parentheses, set3, just like that. Now we need to convert the result into a set to remove the duplicates, then return it as an array. So to do that, we could just come right here. We could say return array, open up the parentheses, we'll say set. That's gonna convert the set into an array by saying set parentheses result, just like that. Now, let's go ahead and run this. Make sure it runs properly, y'all, before we submit it. Oh, we got an error. What does it say? Oh, well, we already know this could be fixed. Let me see. Cannot find sets2. Oh, sorry. So need to put an S after all of these. Boom. All right, now let's run it again, see if this works. And it's accepted, y'all. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it stays accepted after we submit it. Ooh, 33 or 3 milliseconds beats 33.33% of users with Swift, y'all. Not too bad. We'll get those numbers up as we continue down our LeetCode journey. Right now, we just want to be able to solve the problem that is presented to us. And I feel like this is a good solution for that. It's an easy to understand solution, and we'll definitely be able to use the stuff that we learned from this solution in future solutions. So I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.